There's this myth I had about progress. I don't know if everybody has that myth or it's just me. And that is, for somebody to progress, that person has to compile a lot of things to achieve at a time. I've had that mentality for the longest. And let me tell you what, it is training and it doesn't work most times. But then I read something in a book titled Atomic Habits by James Clear, and it makes the whole difference. He said it is so easy to overestimate the power or the importance of a defining moment and then underestimate the value of making small improvements on a daily basis. So that really got me thinking for a while. I mean, sometimes, most times, or all the time even, we don't just read for reading's sake. We read, we understand, and we're trying to implement. And that is something I'm trying to enforce on this app. Let's take my reading life, for example. I'm somebody that loves reading. I love reading a lot. I don't just read to know something or, you know, I just love it. It is something I just love doing. I rather read than to watch movies. I read anything. I read stories. I read lots of books about different lifestyles, about religion, about leadership, whatever. So long it's a compilation of pages that contains information, I always love to explore what it contains. And so, because I have this passion for reading, I tend to want to read everything that is called a book. And that got me a bit obsessed with books. And it got to a point that I always love to pile books on my study table, and then I'll make this target that I'm going to finish about 2 3 books in a day. In a day. Can you even imagine how crazy that sounds? And I do that and I try to implement that. Sometimes it works. I finished a book in a day, but I got to find out that I don't make anything out of that reading. If you ask me a few questions about what I just read, I don't think I'll be able to like answer you excellently the way I would if I took my time, like about 3 4 5 days to finish a book. So when I read this particular statement in this particular book called Atomic Habits, I decided to make a change concerning that, and I tried to clear my table and decide to focus on one thing at a time. The progress was slow. It was slow. I won't lie. I started reading a book for over a week. One one book in a week, but it was a lot more helpful. It was a lot more valuable. I tend to get more. I tend to answer more questions and talk a bit more about that particular book. And that is what we call progress. It doesn't have to be something massive at a time. James Clear emphasized in his book that if your progress is as little as 1% in a day, it is worth doing, so long it is something that you continually do for on a daily basis. You understand? So I challenge us today to make progress at a rate of at least 1% and make sure it's on a daily basis. And then let's try that for the whole of February and see where that takes us, shall we?